Hello peeps, this is Kumarko once again, sharing my journey with you as I seek the truth. Today I want to share 3 things with you that will affect your worldview. Now, before I dive in, I'm going to ask 2 favors of you. The first is, hit that subscribe button to keep updated with my newest content. And secondly, if you found this content useful, please give me a thumbs up. Alright, let's dive in.
Alright, here are 3 things that affect your worldview. The first thing is your scope of awareness. Now, we're speaking about knowledge, and this is tied to your education, the experiments you went through, and your studies. Following that is your background. Tied to your background, we're talking about where you were born, how you were socialized, and the traditions you received. Following that are your habits. Tied to your habits are your thoughts, your behavior, and your actions. The second thing to look at is your experience. This is talking to practical exposure to new people, places, and things. The third thing we want to talk about is your personal biases. This includes your likes, your dislikes, your fears, your beliefs. Here's an example of likes. I like that smooth leather shoe you're wearing. My dad has one just like it. Here's an example of dislikes. I don't like your singing because you don't sound like me. Here's an example of fear. I am afraid of that black man. Here's an example of beliefs. I believe that all white people are devils. I'm going to be discussing a few points now. Point number 1. Regardless of your worldview, that perception will always be contained in a box. This box gives you a sense of security because it has boundaries, but it also creates limitations. Fortunately, not all boxes have the same size. This means the broader your worldview, the larger your boundaries will be. Likewise, the smaller your worldview, the smaller your boundaries will be. You have to determine which view gives you a holistic understanding of the things around you. Well, let's look at an example. Let's say I believed all persons in the police force in Jamaica were corrupted. I might have come to that conclusion based on what I saw, heard, and experienced. But does that make my perception true? Of course not. It would be more practical to say some persons in the Jamaican constabulary force are corrupted. This statement makes my argument a little bit more fair and reasonable because I can never know all the persons that work in the force. Point number 2. Your perception of reality does not mean it is true reality. Having a worldview based on the 3 things mentioned above does not make you right about the world. It does not mean you are wrong either. What it does mean is your perception creates your reality. Here's an example. How would you describe a glass that contained water half the size of a glass capacity? To some people, they could never see the glass as half empty. To others, they could never see the glass as half full. A few might only recognize the glass and say, I give thanks for this glass. In truth, all 3 views are accurate. None is wrong, and none is right either. All the views expressed have points worth considering, but a holistic view gives the perceiver more leverage. Such view would go something like this. I know this glass is not full to its capacity, but it's not empty either. So with what it's contained, I choose to use it for whatever purpose I deem necessary at this point. Here's a question I'd like to throw in. Could our perception of the creator also be limited? Let me know what you think in the comments. To wrap things up, it is important to understand the key point in all of this. In order to broaden our perception of the world, we first need to broaden our scope of awareness. It was not mentioned earlier, but I think you might have figured out that all the other things I mentioned at the beginning of this video is tied to this single point. When our awareness is limited, it affects everything around us and even within us. What you and I think about the world and ourselves have a huge impact on the expectations we have of others and ourselves. This practice of making conclusions before investigation has caused many homes to fall apart. It has also been the cause of many innocent lives taken before their time. Therefore, before we make assertions, let us try and find out as much as we can about the subject. This approach gives us the opportunity to identify an error or false perceptions we might have about something or someone. To learn more, please visit www.kumarako.com. And as always, let knowledge be your path to true freedom. Until next time.